Okay, here's a bullshit argument I hear a lot. An argument I hear a lot is society versus individual rights. And I'm here to clarify that that's bullshit. First off, what is society? A group of individuals. What's an individual? One person. Individual rights, so individual rights cover the rights of that one person. Societal rights cover the rights of those people collectively, all in one group. Well, you see, here's the thing. An individual fundamentally makes up society. So society's a group of individuals that have rights by themselves, but are being combined into a group. That being said, what you're saying with the argument is basically individual rights versus other individuals' rights in a group. I mean, society is just multiple individuals. So what you're kind of saying is individual versus individual rights, and that can't be right. What the argument should be is it a right or not? Is it either right or it's not? What's a good example of individual versus societal versus individual rights? Well, there's forced education, which I absolutely abhor. If we say the rights of society, however, people often justify it with the rights of society, however, trump the rights of someone just not wanting to go to school. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit because I, as an individual, can't force anyone or any other individuals to go to school. I can't just take a truant kid off this kid. I can't just take a truant kid off the street and say, hey, you gotta go to school. It wouldn't be right for me to call a truancy officer to do that either. It's not my place to control an individual's life. If I can't control that individual's life, I can't control other individuals' lives, and I can't control multiple individuals' rights. It also wouldn't be right for me to do it in a group, like get a friend over and try to take a truancy kid off the street and make him go to school. We can't do that for multiple kids. I mean, we can't do that for any kids. We can't do that for multiple kids. Therefore, society just can't do it. If you don't have a right to do it to someone else, you don't have a right to do it in a group. I mean, you have rights as a person to do what you want with your life so long as it only applies to you. You know, it doesn't hurt anyone else, doesn't drag anyone, I can't talk today. Doesn't drag anyone down, sorry, that's my cat down there. Doesn't drag anyone down with you. If it's just about you, then you have the right to do it. You can't have a bunch of individuals bully just one individual into doing something for the greater good. Or the good of the many. You know, I hear that a lot. Spock from Star Trek uses that line. Spock says, well, yeah, he uses that kind of thing. He says the good of the many outweigh the... What was it again? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, something like that. Well, it's bullshit because I have rights regardless of whether I'm an individual or in a group. I got needs. Should I just be overshadowed by the majority? Of course not. What's a good example of an argument that would usually be talked over with societal versus individual rights, but should really be talked over with, you know, do you have the right to do it or not? Survival groups. How about that? Like zombie apocalypse survival groups. The Walking Dead, anyone? Let's say you have this survivor that's kind of, I don't know, kind of just doing his own thing. Is endangering the group. Like he's binging on supplies, and he's making a lot of noise. I don't know, rock music, and that could attract other zombies or something. And Might even be a jerk or stuff, not pull his weight, and do his own fair share, pull his weight and work. So overall, he's a dick. You know, he's not helpful, he's weighing the group down. Well, what a lot of people would say about this person is, the group outweighs that individual. The group outweighs the individual, you know. He's endangering this whole group of people that got together to be able to survive much more efficiently, much more likely. And this dud ass just wants to fuck it up, you know? He doesn't care, he doesn't give a shit. But in reality, I'd say that that's really does he have the right to do it or not? It's not a group thing so much as it's just him endangering other individuals. Like, you know, he's endangering everyone, and he could say, oh, you're just ganging up on me, I have a right to stuff too. You know, we're in a group, but I have a right to do what I want. Well, you see, the thing is, you're violating the other individual's rights to be safe, and, you know, they're not screwing things up. You're endangering others. You don't have the right to endanger one individual, or any one individual, for that matter. You don't have the right to endanger... Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get on the way, Ken. You don't have the right to endanger any group of individuals. So it's really, you're violating the rights of individuals, of any one of those individuals in your group, to not be fucked up by zombies. You know, you're making all this noise and attracting all the walkers. That's you violating things. That's not the group ganging up on you. That's you repping it for each and every one person in the group. Like, it also worked if you were just endangering a couple members, maybe just one member of the group. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right to endanger other people. So, when they're calling you on your bullshit for endangering the group, it's not the tyranny of the majority. You're endangering them alone. We're as a group. So, that guy's a douche. He needs to be kicked out or reprimanded, reformed, whatever. What else? Hold on. Let me check the camera time. Very good. I never liked that argument because it's often been used as a... Well, pretty much inherently is. It pretty much is an excuse for tyranny. We're good. Well, does the greater good have the right to all this control? You know, like, let's take away assault weapons for the greater good. And I'm like, okay. As an individual, do I have the right to take weapons away from anyone? You know, we're not talking, like, rampages here. Or that's what they try to prevent. Like, I'm not talking about taking away a gun from rampages, disarming the rampages. A rampager as a civilian performing a citizen's arrest. You know, as a citizen performing a citizen's arrest. And I'm not talking about, like, taking guns away from criminals like they can't own a gun anymore, at least for a time. They're incarcerated, of course. I'm just talking about taking away the guns for anyone that... These assault weapons, like the AR-15, for anyone that has these. You know, all we know on the surface is that they have an AR-15. Assuming we even figure that out. They could be a law-abiding gun owner. They could be an ethical, responsible gun owner. Or they could be a criminal. But for sake of the assault weapons ban, we're just taking them away from anyone. And that's wrong. It's like, do I have the right to take away a gun from just a person on the surface? And the answer is no. Should I have multiple person? Should I join hands with multiple people to gang up on one gun owner for taking away assault weapons? No, I can't do that either. Should I gang up on multiple gun owners as one person throwing guns? No. Should I have multiple anti-gun people gang up on multiple gun owners for owning guns? No. I can't do that. If I don't have a right to do it as an individual, then I don't have the right to do it as a group. If I can't do it to one person, I can't do it to anyone. And if I can't do it to one person, I can't do it to one person along with the help of anyone either. See, that's the thing. Can you even do it at all as an individual? This whole societal versus individual rights doesn't acknowledge that. It doesn't acknowledge that we have choices as individuals, and whether we can use certain choices is determined by rights, you know, like, do I have a right to, like, make gay marriage illegal? Like, no, because it's between those two individuals, and if I don't have a right to make gay marriage illegal, then nobody does, because, you know, if an individual doesn't have the right to, like, control strangers' lives, then nobody does, right? Nobody does. I mean, people can't think of this in those terms, that when we're in a group, we get extra rights, or we get more powerful rights than that of the individual or smaller group of individuals. You don't get extra rights for being in a group. You have the same rights, in fact. It's just that you're working together for a common thing, or at least have similarities between each other. Society is a group. To even be able to be grouped into society, you have to have similar things. I mean, we're the United States of America. We're a society. We're a country. A country of states. A country of people. And that's pretty much it. You know, we're in the same country. We often share demographics, of course. Same land, some space, territory, whether we're a citizen or someone on a green card, immigrant, illegal immigrant, we're a society. And although we live within proximity with each other, we don't get to tell each other how to live. We have a right to protect ourselves. We can make our own decisions. We can find our own way to do things, to live, to exist, but we don't. But even if we don't have a duty to submit and be controlled by higher powers. I mean, this is our business, this is our lives. You can't force people to go to school because you're worried that nobody would go to school. Society needs people to go to school. We all need to go to school because, well, you can't force any one individual to do it in any amount of people. You can't force any one individual or individuals to go to school alone or in a group of people. So basically, you or any amount of people can't force one person or any amount of people to do anything. There's punishment and justice, however. If someone does a crime that really harms another person, then you have the right to stop them. You know, self-defense, justice, revenge. Self-defense, justice, maybe even revenge or something. Like, you have the right to lock up a rapist, or even kill him in self-defense. Rapists can't say, oh, you're all getting up at me. Well, you did harm another person, or you tried to. And that's not right. This doesn't just apply to you, it applies to that person too, since that's what rape is, forcing sex on another person. We have to lock you up. Sorry, cat scratching on the wall. I don't agree with the death penalty, though, as I explained in another video. Though, I do agree with killing in self-defense. Maybe out of revenge is okay, like, maybe in a moment or something. I'm not too sure about one, but I know killing in self-defense is okay, and I disagree with the death penalty. And remember, someone kills a rapist out of revenge, or child molester, or any other nasty killer, it ain't the death penalty if there isn't a trial, or an appeal process, or even, you know, an analysis of the situation. So, moving on. Individuals punishing someone or self-defense is only a right. I mean, it's a right. And that's like the only time you get to control people, as far as I know, is punishment. When they've done something that harmed another person. Who's being harmed? Who's doing the harming? There's a punishment for the crime, that sort of thing. Controlling other people, another way other than punishment. I guess if you're a leader, if you're a boss, you gotta have your employees do certain things to even be employees. So yeah, there's that. There's that. As a parent, you know, you don't want your kid getting hurt. And of course, they want to agree on everything you have them do. But as long as you're a good parent, at least you're watching over them. So they gotta do what you're saying. So the right to control another human being pretty much just applies to punishment and relationship with that other human being. You know, if you're a leader. Are you a leader of a gun owner who owns a gun you don't like? An AR-15, AK-47, G-36, SIG, 550, you know? No? Well, then you don't get to control what guns they own. Are you a leader of a gay couple? You just don't want to get married, you just don't see a woman and a woman, or a man and a man being a thing that should be allowed to exist? Well, no, you're not the leader of those two strangers. So, you know, get to control that. Are you a leader of someone who has an abortion? No. Then you don't get to control that. Are you the leader of someone who takes drugs? A stoner or even a junkie? No, then you get to control. How about a kid that you are a parent of? Can you make them go to school? I'd say so. You're the parent. The government can't make them go to school, but you, independently, entirely can make them go to school. Can you make your kid not do drugs? Sure. As far as I know, can you make your kid, just stay out of trouble? Yeah, but can you do that for other people's kids? No, you can't make other people's kids go to school. You can't make other people's kids not do drugs. You can't make other people's kids' decisions for them, because you're not the parent. Only the parent can do that. Now, I will agree that you can't have child abuse or neglect, but if it's just a business, if you're not abusing them, you're not neglecting them, then CPS needs to shove off. Needs to fuck off, you know? A lot of kids appreciate being safe from abuse, so that's one good argument for someone needs to intervene in a child abuse neglect situation. But I guess more on that for that subject later. Society, you don't have extra rights in a group. An individual can endanger your group, multiple individuals, but overall what's really going on, as opposed to an individual but their rights against the groups, or groups against an individual, is they're violating the right of endangering another person on multiple cases, since they're endangering multiple people. So you don't have extra rights as a group. You don't have extra rights as society. You don't have extra rights as, you know, the majority. You just have rights. The only thing that makes you a group is, hey, you like each other and or you have a common goal. That's it. No extra rights. You're either being endangered or you're not being endangered. Together or more. I mean, together just alone, you know? So, I think people need to give up this mentality that I have the right to control others if I'm in a group. If I know better than them, you know? Because you don't. Let's face it, you don't. I guess the next time someone tells you for the greater good, you ask them, what greater good? Why do these people have more power in a group? against me than if they were just alone telling me what to do. What gives them the right over me as a group rather than just individuals. You know, why do they get to tell me to do? Because they're more of them than me, you know? That's too bad. I don't believe rights can be negotiated with. You either did something that's worth punishing or you didn't, so yeah. People can only mess with you if you mess with them. And that's pretty much it.